say, I don't like these radios. They're just no goddamn good.
Okay, so a few of you probably know that I play Payday quite a lot, and I know a fair bit about it. Okay, so really I wanted to talk about what improvements have been made over the previous version on the Xbox 360 and PS3, and what's still missing compared to the PC version, because I will say right now, you aren't getting a definitive edition with this one. But first of all, I feel like I really have to address the fact that I've seen a couple of reviews for this game that say that this version doesn't offer anything new over the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions, which I have to say right now shows a fundamental lack of understanding of just what's been added to this game. I'm going to outright criticise them right now, because there's a lot put into this game that wasn't in the original version, and perhaps they've been playing the PC version, where there is still a lot more content. However, this is a massive improvement over the previous version. Okay, so let's have a look at a few things. So first I'll talk about the little things, such as the slight graphical improvement over the previous console version. This does look pretty good, not as good as it looks on the PC, obviously, but this still looks much better than the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions. The frame rate is a hell of a lot better. There were massive frame rate drops in the previous console version, which aren't in this one. In terms of gameplay, there's a few improvements to this. The big one I noticed is that you can now move hand-tied hostages, which was something that was but wasn't included in the previous console version, which was always quite puzzling because it was quite a big part of the game. As in, you have to stay invisible. So if you take hostages and things like that, and you have to leave them just out in the open, it makes it very easy to get spotted and to raise an alarm. I know, fair enough, you can play this game as you want and you don't always have to go quiet. You can keep things nice and loud if you want to. However, in this instance, it does give you extra options if you do decide to take the quiet route through this game. Really, the other thing that's a major improvement on this game is the amount of content that's put into it. The customization options are far better than the original console. I mean, there's tons and tons of guns now, way more than the last one. I think the real shocker in the last version was the amount of melee weapons that you had. There are tons in this one. Lots and lots of other guns as well, including my favourite, the Clarion, has made its way onto the console version of the game. On top of that as well, there's lots of mask customization in this game now. Again, still not up to the PC standards, but it's all... there's enough to keep you happy. As well as gun customization as well. All the extra guns you've got, you also have a lot more attachments that you can put on the weapon to really customize the gun to how you want it to feel. So how about the level content? You've got a lot more missions in this one. Obviously in the previous console version, I think the only extras you got in terms of the downloadable content that came out after the base game itself, I think you had the Diamond Store heist, and you had all the armoured transport levels as paid DLC in the previous console versions. You've obviously still got all that in this version, but you have a hell of a lot more as well, including some of the free ones, such as my favourite mission, Shadow Raid, is in this one. You also have things like the Diamond Museum heist, you have the Big Bank, you have the bomb DLCs. It's really, a lot of it's here. The ones which are missing at the moment, you won't get the Alesso heist, and there's no sign of the new free ones that are on the PC as well, including the Auto Store mission. That's a little disappointing. It would be nice if we had an announcement to say whether they're getting this one, and this is probably the biggest worry for this game, is that there's been absolutely no indication from Overkill Software whether they're actually going to support this version further, whether they've just thrown all the old DLC in and they're just going to say, right, you've got a massive version of the game here, and there is a lot of content in this game. have fun with it, but we're not going to be updating it. It's a bit of a letdown, because it would be nice to have at least some of those free contents and maybe the Alesso heist. I still hold out hope that they're going to at least release one paid DLC pack on the Xbox One and PS4 versions of the game, but only time will tell, and at the moment even that I think is looking a little doubtful. I hope I'm wrong, but there we go. Another thing that's far been improved upon in this version is also the infamy tree. The infamy tree obviously was in the previous version, but it was very limited. This one actually has the tree a little more fleshed out, and you can go a bit further with this one, which again leaves a hell of a lot more replayability to this game. There's more things to aim for when you're done with the game. I'm not really going to review this game from here on in. I'm just going to say that I have got a previous video, which I will be putting in the links at the end of this video. So you can go there and have a look at that review if you'd like to get more of an idea of what the general game's like anyway. But what I will say is it has an awesome soundtrack to it. It's a cooperative game that you do have to work together, which is always fun. Good communication between the group is always... it always helps things. It's not necessary, but it does help. The actual gameplay, they're just short-based missions. There's no real story mode to it. But like I say, you can have a more in-depth look on one of my other videos and get an idea of what the game's like, because when I release that review, everything that's in that version is also in this version, and more, I will say. So it's a pretty good indicator of what you're going to get out of this game. So really, what else can I say about this version? I would say it's perfect if you're interested in this game, but don't really want to have to go out and get a PC or update your PC in order to play it. This is a very, very complete version, although not completely there, if you understand what I mean. Okay, so really, I've got to say this game is great fun. And if you've seen a lot of negativity in other reviews, I would say don't worry about that too much, because even from what they say about this not being a big improvement over the previous console version, that is absolute rubbish. There's far more in this version, and I think you're going to find it a lot harder to get bored with this version as well, simply because the amount of missions in. Oh, and one other thing. The Death Wish difficulty is in this game as well, so if you found things getting a little too easy, you can up the difficulty on this one, and it's an extra challenge as well. So, I suppose you guys better go out, get your masks, and mask up, because this game is worth having. It's a good bit of fun, especially if you've only got like 5-10 minutes in the day to really play something. Okay, right, so... I may even be live streaming this in the future if I can get a few people together in order to play this. So, yeah, there we go. I shall hopefully see you on a heist soon. See you later. Bye.